There's four main ways that you can market and prospect on LinkedIn. I'm going to talk about that in this video. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name's Trevor Turnbull. I'm the founder of Expert Selling. We have a number of programs where we support solopreneurs that are consultants, coaches, or speakers that typically struggle with technology, team building, and time management. So we help them with that by offering a done-for-you solution with LinkedIn lead generation, as well as access to a database of pre-screened virtual assistants and freelancers that we've worked with. And of course, a big component of what we do is all around mindset and making sure that we're working on the most efficient things in our business as solopreneurs so that we don't get distracted, so that we don't get discouraged. We overcome those limiting beliefs and that imposter syndrome to help you keep moving forward and create a repeatable, a predictable, and a measurable client acquisition system. So let's get into this. The four main ways that you can market on LinkedIn. I'm going to go to my desktop here now, and I'll show you those four ways. So the first one you can see here, I'm just on the homepage of LinkedIn. The first one is what most people are already doing because it happens regardless of whether or not you're active on LinkedIn or not. And that is inbound connection requests. So you can see here, I'm only showing a handful of these. I've got a number, you can see 53 that are pending right now because my team hasn't got to them yet. But this is the first way, which is inbound connection requests. So these are people seeking you out either because you've met them before or they're looking for solutions based around, topics or problems that they have and solutions that you have to provide. And they reach out and they connect with you. Now, a lot of us, what we do is we just go accept, and we don't give any thought to what we might actually say back to them once they request to connect with us, because obviously there's a reason that they're doing it. Now, it could be lots of reasons. It could be self-serving in the sense that they want to sell you something, but in other cases, it could be people that are ideally suited for you to be able to serve. So we don't want to miss these opportunities. So the key here is really monitoring and keeping track of and keeping on your incoming connection requests. Many people I talk to, they just let these inbound connection requests just build up inside of their account. Or, like I mentioned, they just hit that accept button and they just end up with a big network, but they don't ever engage in a conversation. That's a missed opportunity. So that's number one, is inbound connection requests. Number two is where you would be proactively messaging and connecting with your target audience. Now, if you're not using Sales Navigator yet, I want to really encourage you to do so if you want to take LinkedIn seriously as a prospecting tool. There's some amazing search filters built into this tool, and it allows you to narrow down to an audience that would be the perfect types of clients for what you have to offer. So that's the first step, is really narrowing down the audience. The other component of this too, and I'll just address this right now, and this is actually relevant to the inbound requests as well, is you need to have a profile that really speaks to your target audience. So who do you serve? How do you serve them? Why should they trust you? And how can they find out more? And we can do this through our background photo, through our profile photo, through our headline, through our about section, the media that we add in here, the information that we add on our experience section. Those are kind of the main ones. There's, of course, recommendations as well, which is another form of social proof, other people saying that you're really good at what you do. But anyways, that's another foundational piece that works for both the first example and the second one. So with the second example, it's about proactive prospecting. So outbound, connecting, follow-ups, asking questions, engaging in conversations, providing value in the form of LinkedIn articles or lead magnets for the marketing term, but essentially checklists, reports, just different strategies, value videos, that type of thing. Any way that you can provide value to your network, ideally illuminating some type of pain point that they have, and then allowing them to come to the conclusion that you may be able to solve that with the solutions that you provide. So that's the second way, is to do proactive prospecting and network building and messaging on LinkedIn. And of course, the key is all about tracking. It's all about tracking your conversations and doing follow-ups and knowing what you said to that person previously, how they responded, and what the next thing is that you should be saying. So consider your LinkedIn network as a list, right? It's like an email list, and it gives you the opportunity to connect with people on a one-to-one level. All right. So that is the second one. The third one is in content, right? So if I go to my profile here, so content in the form of both posting articles, and you can see here that I've got a number of articles that I've published on LinkedIn. Now, the one thing about articles is that, once you publish it, it doesn't stay in the news feed. You actually have to proactively market these articles. People may come across them still because they come to your profile. They maybe want to dive a little deeper and look at what you're talking about. So it's good to have some content that, again, speaks about the pains, the challenges, the frustrations that your audience has, and then some illumination on how that's showing up in that person's life and how you can help solve that problem, ideally with a call to action. So you can see here, I've got a number of articles, and not a ton, just enough so that if somebody looks at my profile, they know what I do, and they can dive a little deeper into some of these topics, and they can get an idea of how I can help them, okay? So that's one thing. The other thing is around posting on LinkedIn. So proactively creating content with the intent on actually sharing that in the feed, ideally on a daily basis, and ideally using video. LinkedIn is definitely thumbs up on video right now. It's really attempting to be a more social platform, which means that they want to encourage people to share video, to do live video, to ask engaging questions, to get comments back and forth. And the more you can consistently do this, the more it's going to show up in that person's news feed. But it's also just an opportunity for you, again, to, share your expertise and really show your target audience that you know what you're talking about and that you can actually help them with the challenges that they're facing. So you can see here, I've got some testimonials that we publish on here because we've got lots of them from our Expert Selling Machine program. We've also got training type videos, so story type videos, how-to videos, pain point solution type videos. There's a few different formats that we use for creating content, and we publish that on my LinkedIn profile as a post, okay? And the way that you do that is by doing it right on the homepage. You can see here, you can just go start a post, and you can draft from here. You can upload images, quote graphics, videos, like I just mentioned, documents, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. Now, the other one, and this is one that we actually haven't proactively been doing up until now, but there's a reason why I'm going to start to encourage people to start doing this, and that is posting on your company page. Now, you'll notice here, so I'm recording this before I even had a chance to update things because this banner right here is actually a bit out of date. So I realized that we have to go back and we have to revise our branding on here and our messaging. The tagline that we have on here is still very accurate as far as what we do, but the background, we're going to be changing that out to a different message. Now, what I'm saying as far as posting though is down here. You can see you can start a post as your company page. Now, in the past, I haven't encouraged people to do this because it just didn't seem like it was worth the squeeze, right? Who is ever going to see it unless they chose to follow your page? And I don't even believe I can see the amount of followers that I have on here. I see new followers. Let me see if I can actually, unique visitors, post impressions, button clicks. Let's see if I can actually see the total followers on this page. Yeah, 504, right? And we've done nothing to actually proactively market this as a tool because of the fact that it was hard to get people to see your content unless you were paying for ads. So the trick that I want to tell you about though here is that you'll notice on the right-hand side, I'm just going to go back to the main company page. On the right-hand side, you see new here beside admin tools. Now, LinkedIn is notorious for coming out with new features and not telling anybody. I just happened to come across this yesterday, and I wanted to share this with you. So you actually have the ability now to invite your contacts, people that you're connected with first degree, to follow your company page. So think about Facebook, right? Like back in the day when you had a company page or a personal, like a business page, right? On Facebook, you wanted people to like it so that they would see your content. Eventually, Facebook started to charge for that exposure. They changed the algorithm and the way that things showed up in the newsfeed. And when you posted to a company page, it was or a business page, it was kind of dead, right? Well, LinkedIn's at that point right now too, where they're again starting to encourage people to publish content, not only on their personal profile, but also on their company pages. And what you can do with this is Unfortunately, it's a very manual process, which is why I would encourage having an assistant or a virtual assistant do this for you. But you can literally click on these names and invite that person to follow your company page if they're interested in the kind of topics that you might be talking about. Now, there's no way to customize the message that you're sending to them, but this is what it ultimately looks like. If we look in my network, normally all we'd see in here is inbound connection requests, but you can see here that somebody just yesterday invited me to follow their company page. And I'm sure LinkedIn's going to change this because right now it looks the same, right? Ignore, accept, ignore, accept. So it's hard to, unless you're looking really closely, it's hard to see which ones are people requesting to connect with you and which ones are people asking you to follow their company page. But this type of strategy, if you can bump up the followers that you have on your page, your content is going to be viewed more, right? Which obviously is another opportunity for you to create awareness around what you do, to illuminate pain points, to provide solutions, to give access to resources, whether it's a podcast, a blog, a video series, a YouTube channel, or just the content even that you're publishing on your personal profile. So those are the 4 ways to effectively market your business on LinkedIn. Now, I want to talk about 2 more little bonus tips that you can do when marketing on LinkedIn. Now, I already mentioned one of them, and that is advertising on LinkedIn. Now, to date, we've done very, very little in advertising on LinkedIn. It's always been too expensive. The interface itself is just not where it should be. But we have a handful of clients that have been experimenting with LinkedIn ads and having a lot of success getting very targeted with their audience and, not even having to put big budgets behind their ad spend. They're finding that the cost per lead is still much higher than Facebook, but the quality of that lead is actually much better. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to point out though, too, the second tip that I have for you to kind of hack to get traffic to your post. So you can see here, this is a post of a testimonial video, for example, right? If I was to go into my email tool, I'll just show you this. So I've posted on my LinkedIn profile every single day for the last couple of weeks. And in doing so, what we've done is once a week, I will pick one of those email broadcasts that we're sending out to our general broadcast list in our email, and I will drive it to one of those LinkedIn posts. Let me see if I can find it here. You can see these are all the list of all the email broadcasts that I sent out recently. And there was one called "You Don't Need More Leads." So I recorded a video and I posted it on LinkedIn as a post. And then I emailed my list to that post. And you can see here that we had like a 15.8% open rate. It kind of varies between that and like 25% typically. I don't know why Infusionsoft doesn't show our click rate in here. It always shows this as 0. But if I click through, you can see we had 44 clicks just from that email. Now, we also sent that to all the unopens as well, because it's just a great way from an email marketing perspective where sometimes people don't see it or they just get busy. It gets lost in their email inbox. So we'll resend the same email like 4 or 5 hours later with a different subject line. And that always boosts up the views as well. But if I go into the actual email here, let me just go and click on this. And you can see that the message is saying, I hear all the time when talking to solopreneurs, they need more leads. It's just not true. What you need is a better way to convert the leads that you have, as well as more qualified leads, right? And I recorded a video. It's a 2-minute video and it's here on LinkedIn. So this links over to my post on LinkedIn. And you can see here, it's got 9 likes. It's got 400 views on the video. So it's not a ton, but those are 400 extremely targeted people, where I would say that 80% of the people that viewed this are likely from my email list. So think about the touch points there, right? I'm using multiple platforms to create content, publish content, and then drive traffic to that content. And one of the reasons why I encourage people to do this, send traffic from their email list to their LinkedIn posts, is because look at this. This is almost like a sales page for you, right? You have your profile linked up on the side. You've got this valuable video in here. You've got engagement. You're asking questions. You're giving statements around pain points and solutions. It's got some activity, so it's getting some awareness built that way. And if somebody wanted to dive deeper and go, that was really insightful, they can actually click on my LinkedIn profile and go and dive a little deeper. And this is, again, where my profile optimization comes in, because I want them to see my background photo, my headline, my about section, all of my media, as well as my articles that I publish, my recent activity, my experience, and everything else that's on my profile, including skills and endorsements, recommendations. Can you see the journey that we can take a potential prospect down just by simply publishing on LinkedIn? So that's a little hack for you. Use an alternative source to drive traffic to your LinkedIn posts. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions about this, obviously there's a lot that I could dive much deeper into all 4 of these strategies as far as message scripting, timing of everything, how to do all this work without you having to do it all, content strategy and types of content you might create. If you have any questions on that or you want me to do trainings on those things, I'm happy to do so. Just leave a comment down below, and thanks for watching.